Chief Meteorologist Josh Johns here in the KSAN Storm Team Weather Center. We continue to track thunderstorms nearing San Angelo, and while there is no warning for this thunderstorm yet, there is an area of rotation we're watching very closely south of 67. You can see it right here on velocity. If this is not a tornado, it's at least going to be some enhanced winds getting up to 60 to 65 miles per hour, nearing areas from Tankersley up into Dove Creek. Again, no warning just yet, but this activity is, we're going to go over this too. We're going to go over this. We're going to continue moving this thunderstorm up to the northeast, up 67.
I had no idea it was going to be so hard.
No severe thunderstorm warning at the present time, but I have a feeling they're going to issue a new one, and this is going to be for 60-mile-per-hour winds, maybe nearing 70 at times as this rolls into the city. Very frequent cloud-to-ground lightning is coming in. We've got a Facebook Live going on right now. We'll continue tracking it for you, and we'll cut in if we need to. Stay with KSAN, and we'll keep you ahead of the storm.
Department of Health and Human Services.
What if you served and sacrificed for your country, but couldn't get the specialized care, military benefits, and career opportunities you needed? Chris Sullivan was shot and paralyzed in Iraq and now needs our help to get back into life. Paralyzed Veterans of America is on a mission, Mission Able, to help our seriously wounded veterans get the care, benefits, and jobs they've earned. Join the mission now for America's paralyzed veterans at mission-able.com.
I'm Mark Zupan, part of the U.S. Paralympic rugby team. In my game, movement is everything. I get frustrated when my move is blocked, especially when that guy has no right to be there, even just for a minute. I love a challenge, but I don't like to play this game every day.
A message from the United Spinal Association.
In 1988, our dear friend Paul Newman had a vision, a place where kids with serious illnesses could just be kids.
So he founded a camp, and the joy of playing, laughing, and simply belonging had a profound effect.
Freeing the children to reach beyond their illnesses and discover new strength.
From that one camp, the Serious Fund Children's Network has grown, serving 30,000 kids globally every year.
At no cost to their families.
Please donate today to help change a child's life. Visit Serious Fund.
Chief Meteorologist Josh Johns here in the KSAN Storm Team Weather Center. We have a new tornado warning to tell you about, and it is for extreme western Tom Green County. It's this area right here. We are concerned about a tornado developing, and it's going to be this area of rotation just off to the west of Knickerbocker. We'll see if we can zoom into that for you, if my stuff will work here. It doesn't look like it will. Chris, if you don't mind going in and zooming in on that real quick, make sure Magic Track's disabled so it doesn't key on my hand there with that check mark. And then go ahead and see if you can zoom in. And we're going to get a few more roads there. Meteorologist Chris Ramirez in here as well. Here's the area of rotation we are concerned about. This is going to be south of 67. Here is Farm Road 2335. This is west of Knickerbocker, but this is approaching areas from Dove Creek over to Knickerbocker. And again, we don't have a reported tornado, but this is a very significant rotation showing up on radar right now, is just working off to the northeast. It's going to be taking it over towards San Angelo. Chris, I'm going to go ahead and there we go. 94-mile-per-hour winds showing up on radar. There, Chris just queried that. 94-mile-per-hour winds, so at least we're getting 70 to 80-mile-per-hour winds coming out of this thing if it is not a tornado. And this is running into areas from Knickerbocker over towards Dove Creek. So if you're in that area, we want you to go ahead and be taking cover. You can see the hook right there. Tornado warning, again, in effect. And this tornado warning, we'll get the latest time on it for you. This tornado warning does go for Tom Green County until 5:15 a.m., and it is for this just very small area coming in. Here comes the latest scan, and we're still seeing that rotation there south of 2335 in the Knickerbocker area. So something we're watching closely as that's rolling towards areas from Dove Creek to Knickerbocker. You can see this thunderstorm did work out of Erie County near Mercen, came up 67, and it's going to be coming over Dove Creek. It's going to be coming over areas near Boys Ranch, areas just off to the west of the Twin Buttes Reservoir, nearing Tankersley right now. And if this continues at its present track, it will be rolling into the San Angelo area coming up by around 5:14 a.m. Goodfellow AFB around 5:18, and Tennyson by around 5:43. This is a lot of lightning occurring with this thunderstorm too, and it is producing a lot of rain in a short amount of time. So that means we're going to be seeing the potential for some flash flooding in this area. We're looking off to the west now from downtown San Angelo. And let me know if you see anything on your end, Chris, because I know you got a little bit better look at that.
All I'm seeing is just the 90-mile-per-hour winds that are associated with that tornado warning. At the current moment, this area of rotation is just crossing the Erie County line into Tom Green County. And so I don't know if am I mic'd up right now? I'm
you
not
are
sure.
mic'd up.
Okay, cool. If we anybody who's in South San Angelo, this is something to really be concerned about, because we're seeing some winds up to 90 miles an hour with this area of rotation that's currently moving into Tom Green County with that tornado warned storm. This does not include the city of San Angelo as of yet, but this storm is moving towards the northeast, towards the South San Angelo area as we continue to monitor this continuing situation here. But we are tracking this tornado warned storm that includes the eastern portions of Erie County and then the western portions of Tom Green County along 87 or 67 there as we continue closer towards the 5 a.m. hour. But we are just about to start seeing our storms pop up here. And just like Josh is showing you on air right now, we are seeing that kind of a hook echo with that as that continues to move towards the city of San Angelo. So folks that are in the south portions of town, this is something to be keeping an eye on. Near Knickerbocker, near Lake Nasworthy, this is something to be keeping an eye on because this is moving in the general direction towards South San Angelo, near the Twin Buttes Reservoir, just north of Knickerbocker. Currently, I'm trying to look at that road there as that we continue. As Josh, you can clearly point out that area of rotation that's right there in that area. It just now crossed into the Tom Green County line. And I don't know, Josh, if you want to add on anything.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get this thing to loop real quick. I'll get it to loop for you there, and we'll be able to see what this thunderstorm was doing as we were looping it back to the last, it should be the last hour or so. You can see that moving across, and it's basically coming right up here over 2335 as this thunderstorm came out of Erie County. Now seeing that area of rotation still going on there, and we'll go ahead and we'll stop this loop for you. We'll take a look at that as it comes across, as it came across, and now sitting just right there off to the west of 2335. So we'll go ahead and we'll clear that out of the way so you can see it there. But you can see the, yeah, we're going to go ahead as we continue to track this, Joey, for those of you in the control room. You can see that area of rotation again, now approaching 2335. Don't have any more roads showing up. You see anything on Google Maps there west of 2335, Chris?
Let me
not seeing anything on my end here. I'll try to zoom in a little bit more. No, everything's coming out of Erie County. But that thing now approaching parts of San Angelo. We're getting heavy rain now in San Angelo, potentially some golf ball size hail with this thunderstorm too as it's rolling in up 67. But our main concern is this tornado warning that is now sitting south of 67 to the east of Mertzen. You see that activity right there, this thunderstorm continuing to show that hook echo southwest of 2335. And you can see a little bit of wind coming out of the edge of that too, a little bit of a bow. So again, if this does not have a tornado in it, it does have winds getting up to maybe 70, 80 miles per hour, rolling now from areas from Mertzen over towards Knickerbocker. And that activity rolling into the west means it's going to be nearing areas near Dove Creek, coming up Knickerbocker Road, potentially toward the Twin Buttes Reservoir, and then potentially into areas south of 306 where this heaviest activity will be occurring. And so that means those of you maybe around College Hills. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this again, and we're still watching that area of rotation, still pretty significant there off to the west of 2335.
And Josh, it's fairly rural areas, just west of 2335, but I mean, like I just mentioned, I think the main concern, if you're in South San Angelo, near the Twin Buttes Reservoir and near Lake Nasworthy, this is kind of the main concern to really keep an eye on what's going on and heed all weather warnings, because this is a tornado warned storm. We are seeing radar indicated 90-mile-an-hour wind gusts with this particular portion of that tornado warned area there. As we continue to monitor this is heading in the general direction of the city of near South San Angelo there. But we are seeing, I'm going to go ahead and look at a few products here to see how fast this storm is moving here. But we are currently keeping an eye on this particular thunderstorm that's tornado warned. It has now crossed into Tom Green County as we continue to monitor this, and it's moving in the direction towards the city of the South San Angelo currently right now. So this is currently moving. I know they just issued another warning here. Well, what was that update there, Josh?
They have updated that warning. They've kind of trimmed this back to where it's now only including areas of Tom Green County. So Erie County, you're no longer under this tornado warning. However, we are watching that area where there is rotation now coming in on the back end of that, and that's going to be going in through parts of Tom Green County again. We're trying to take a look at that.
This thunderstorm is moving northeast at 20 miles an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and put a tracker on here so we can see exactly where this storm is headed as it continues to move towards the northeast here. So at the current time, we are seeing, just 1 second here, moving in the general direction of southeast San Angelo if this storm holds up. So expect this area of rotation to be near the Twin Buttes Reservoir around 5:15 in the morning. That's in the next 15 minutes or so if this area of rotation does hold up here. But as we continue to monitor this, I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what we're looking at in terms of wind speeds, because I am seeing some fairly high wind speeds with this particular area of rotation currently right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just click there to see what we're dealing with. That's 107-mile-an-hour radar indicated winds. I wouldn't be surprised if this is something that's on the ground, Josh. I don't know if you want to elaborate on that.
Potentially on the ground, Chris. Yeah, we're looking at some off-air products here, and there is a significant area of rotation still showing up south of 67. And again, that's going to be moving over 2335 shortly. And we're trying to take a look at some of our cactus cameras, see if we can see anything in the distance. There we go. We'll have this up shortly here.
Do you have any the correlation coefficient for?
I do. I'll put it up here. Try to get this full.
So like we mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and loop this back for the past hour or so. We are continuing to track this radar indicated rotation of a tornado warned storm that is heading towards the South San Angelo area near the Twin Buttes Reservoir and currently heading towards Mathis Field if this area of rotation does hold up. We're already seeing about 107-mile-per-hour radar indicated winds with this area of rotation. So it's safe to say that if you are along Knickerbocker Road, along near Lake Nasworthy or South San Angelo from the loop to the south of town, this is something to be keeping an eye on. Right now, the city of San Angelo is not under a tornado warning at the current moment. It's currently encompassing FM 2335 along 67 just outside the city. There as we continue to monitor this, but we're still continuing to see this area of rotation just kind of hold up. It's not weakening as of now. I mean, we did see it weaken just a little bit, but now it's just continuing to hold that strength there as we continue to track this there for the next 20 minutes or so. So we are expected, like I just mentioned, Josh, we did see that this could be around Twin Buttes Reservoir around 5:15, and this area of rotation is currently crossing FM 2335 right now. Now we're getting from the rural areas, and now we're kind of coming into a little bit more populated areas here as we continue closer towards the city of San Angelo.
Yeah, Chris, you're mentioning that right now, that area of rotation crossing 2335. We've gone ahead and thrown the rivers on here, too. This is the Middle Concho right here. So if you know, that rolls into Spring Creek south of 67 in Erie County. That is where this thing is right now, pretty near the Middle Concho and 2335. The Boys Ranch is somewhere here off 2166. So if you're at the Boys Ranch right now, you need to be taking cover. This is going to be moving right over that area. And again, if there's not a tornado on the ground, there is the potential for some winds getting up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. And Chris, I'm looking at the sky cam, seeing if we can see anything. I don't know, do you see anything showing up there right now?
I do not. All I'm seeing is the massive lightning, so we're not really seeing it. We're looking out of our Cactus West cam, and we're not seeing, usually with these tornadoes, you're able to see those power flashes, but we're not seeing that as of now, but we are seeing radar-indicated wind gusts up to about 107 miles an hour. I'm going to go ahead and get back onto the system here, Josh, to kind of query those wind speeds again so we can see what we're dealing with. So, like I mentioned, the reds are away from the radar, the greens are towards the radar. So I've been tracking this, and this has been keeping up about between 95 to 100 miles an hour with this wind gust, and this is heading towards the south areas of San Angelo, just a little bit closer towards town. So we can expect this to reach the city limits within the next 15 minutes as it gets closer towards the Twin Buttes Reservoir. We are continuing to track this as we head into the morning hours here. I'm going to go ahead and look to see if any updates with the National Weather Service. Josh, do you have anything else to add?
Have we seen any updates with the National Weather Service just yet?
No, sir, we have not. We definitely just see the tornado warning that's expiring at 5:15. I can imagine if this rotation does hold up, they're going to extend this warning for areas to the south of town. But if you're just joining us now, we are tracking a tornado-warned storm that's currently crossed into Tom Green County. We're tracking an area of rotation. We are seeing radar-indicated wind gusts of about 100 miles an hour with this particular area of rotation here as it continues tracking towards the Twin Buttes Reservoir. So if you are along 67 in the loop, to the south of town, this is something to keep an eye on. Near the airport and near Lake Nasworthy, along Sherwood Way, 67 turns into Sherwood Way, along those areas, Southland, all those subdivisions south of the loop there, this is something to be tracking because this area of rotation is heading towards the general direction of the south portions of town.
And Chris, the Weather Service, at what speed did they say it was moving? Was it 25
This was north.
30?
This was moving east at 20 miles an hour.
20 miles per hour? Okay, so we'll go ahead and put that latest track on it for you. This activity, again, just south of 67, is going to be moving off to the northeast. That means coming up towards the Twin Buttes Reservoir and eventually towards the city. That means Twin Buttes Reservoir by around 5:21 and the San Angelo Stadium by around 5:46. Current time is 5:04. So this area of rotation itself is moving at about 20 miles per hour. The thunderstorm is moving at about 35. And that thunderstorm, again, this is still capable of some very heavy rain as it's rolling into the city. We already have heavy rain falling in the city. We do have the potential also for up to quarter-size hail and winds getting up to 70 miles per hour. But again, that area that we are most concerned about is going to be right here off to the south of 2166 now. Here's the Middle Concho River snaking around here, and here's 2166. And Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, that's still showing up as 80 or 90, right? Yeah,
let me go ahead and do another track on this storm here. Still but between 95 and 100 miles an hour. So looks like it's seen weakening just a little bit, but still, this is radar indicated of about a 96 mile an hour wind gusts with this particular area of rotation there. So we are tracking this as we get close to the 5:05 hour. And so like I mentioned, areas to the south of town, Twin Buttes Reservoir, near Lake Nasworthy, this is something to keep an eye on. Definitely take those warnings seriously with this particular thunderstorm. But at the moment, the city of San Angelo is not included in that tornado, or any parts of the city is not included in that tornado warning area, but it's just the the western portions of Tom Green County along 2166 that is moving. And it looks like this area of rotation is now moving outside of that warned area there. So I can only imagine that the National Weather Service may extend this warning and may issue another one encompassing areas closer towards the city of San Angelo as we continue to track this.
Yeah, Chris, and I want to mention one thing I'm noticing with the rotation now. At least it's becoming a little bit broader, and that's good news for tornado prospects, or at least good news for the fact that we won't see, or we're less likely to see a tornado out broader circulation than the tighter one we saw there. What this looks more like now is some very gusty winds coming on the backside of that circulation, and that's where we're getting more widespread winds now, at least a broader area of winds up to 70 miles per hour. That's going to be coming across areas coming over towards the Boys Ranch, and eventually crossing the Twin Buttes Reservoir, rolling into areas towards Lake Nasworthy. Again, this thunderstorm is still southwest of San Angelo. At least the core of it is still southwest of San Angelo, but we'll go over to the radar and show you what I mean. The core of it is still over southwest San Angelo. The part we're most concerned about, still some very heavy rain falling in San Angelo, nearing Arden Road, also towards Twin Buttes Reservoir, and a ton of lightning. We're looking at the Cactus West camera, and we have absolutely seen a ton of lightning. Let's see if we can go ahead and snag that up for you and show you that camera, because there is a ton of lightning out there. We get updates every 1 and 1.5 seconds on this camera in our graphics system. And so I'll move this out of the way so you can see just how much lightning is occurring currently over the city. This is looking off to the west. We're also looking to see if we see any sort of wall cloud with this thing, and at the time we do not, but we are looking through a lot of rain, so it's going to be hard to see this thing as it comes across. The main concern again being that very gusty wind that's now coming out with the potential of a tornado now coming over towards the Twin Buttes Reservoir. Have they had any updates, Chris, from the National Weather Service?
There has not been any updates from the National Weather Service. I mean, this tornado warned storm does expire at 5:15. That's in the next within 5, 6, 7 minutes there. So I can only imagine, like Josh just mentioned, we did see some broadening of this rotation as we continue to monitor it there. But we definitely are tracking it, and I can only imagine that they're going to allow. We're still seeing actually. If you can zoom in there.
Yeah, I'm zooming in here real quick. We still see a good rotation marker right here, south of 2166. Again, the Boys Ranch is located right in here, so eventually this will be crossing the Boys Ranch. And Chris, if you don't mind, just going ahead and aquarium that if you can. Yeah, oh man, that's some really gusty wind. Now this may be an anomaly. I want to tell you that. This may be an anomaly, but we've seen consistent 90-mile-per-hour readings coming off of the wind reader right now. Again, this is radar estimated. Okay, new tornado warning, and we're going to go ahead and get that time for you. This does include the city of San Angelo. So folks now sitting in the south side of San Angelo, we want you to be heading to cover now. This is rolling into the College Hills area eventually. It's rolling into Southland. It's rolling into areas near Lake Nasworthy. Coming across the Twin Buttes Reservoir currently is this tornado warning storm, or this tornado warned storm. The tornado warned portion we are concerned about is right over here. Chris, if you don't mind, I'm going to get out of the way, or at least go ahead and try to track this core as it moves off.
Let me go ahead and see what the new data is here, Josh.
Yeah, and I'll try to pull that track. Give me the speed if you don't mind.
Yeah, if we're definitely...
Again, this is a tornado warning now in effect for the city of San Angelo until 5:30 a.m. for southern, or for most of central Tom Green County.
This area of rotation is moving northeast at 25 miles an hour.
So we're still at 20 to 25 miles per hour. So this area of rotation is right here off of the Twin Buttes Reservoir. We'll pull this in the general direction and get you an idea of when this will be rolling towards the city. So Twin Buttes Reservoir by around 5:13, coming into the Southland area shortly after that, and by the Goodfellow Air Force Base by 6 a.m. So between 5:15 to 5:45, everyone in southwest San Angelo or in South San Angelo needs to be in cover if you aren't yet. So we're now at 5:09. You have about 5 minutes to take cover. Get into the center part of your house, get away from windows, and hunker down until this area of the thunderstorm has passed. Again, a tornado warning in effect now until 5:15 for the city of San Angelo. Here's that warning. We'll go ahead and zoom in again for you.
And so a little bit of safety measures here. This is something that I know a lot of times we always have these warnings, but this is a very serious situation right now for the city of San Angelo. But we are tracking this area of rotation that is not weakening. It's still continuing to see this area of rotation. So if you are in a mobile home, you are not safe if you are in a mobile home. And also, too, just get to the lowest floor of your house. And in a basement or any type of interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building, avoid all windows. If you are outdoors or in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest shelter, whether that's a gas station or some type of sturdy shelter here. But this is a very serious situation for the city of San Angelo as we're continuing to track this storm. And like Josh just mentioned, we were keeping an eye on these radar indicated wind gusts, and we actually saw a wind gust up to about 100 miles an hour with this particular area of rotation that's currently moving towards Mathis-Field. And it's going to be interesting, Josh, because this rotation is actually heading directly towards our radar site.
Yes, it very much is.
So if this does some type of damage to our radar site, so if you see that area of silence, that little circle of silence there, that's where our radar is located. So if there is any type of damage to that from this area of rotation, that's definitely not good news, because we're not going to be able to see exactly what's going on. And if you can go ahead and turn on the velocity here so we can see what our winds are doing with this particular area. but we are continuing to monitor this area of rotation as we continue to move towards the area. So like Josh just mentioned, you see these these colors that are two different colors moving towards each other. That's indicating rotation, and this is moving in a general direction towards Knickerbocker Road, along Lake Nasworthy, and along the Twin Buttes Reservoir there. So we're currently tracking this area, and if you are just now joining us, the city of San Angelo is now under a tornado warning. That is lasting until, when is that lasting?
Through 5:30, Chris.
Through 5:30. Through 5:30, and we are tracking a distinct area of rotation with this particular thunderstorm. So if you are in South San Angelo, this is one of those areas where you have to just take all safety measures here, because we're not seeing this weekend. We're seeing this area of rotation come towards the area. So of course there goes our cell phones. Your cell phones are probably going off now, indicating this tornado warned area that's currently moving towards the city of San Angelo as we continue to track this. And this is moving closer towards Mathis Field Airport, closer towards the radar site there.
Yes, absolutely, Chris. And I'm seeing even an increase in the rotation of this thunderstorm, at least from what we're seeing on velocity here. We're seeing a lot of wind coming towards the San Angelo radar here in the blue, and a lot of wind coming away from the San Angelo radar in the red. So here's the area of rotation. It's right along 2166.
So we just received word that the National Weather Service office here in San Angelo, they have taken shelter, and they're now relying on the Midland National Weather Service office.
Yes.
Like I just mentioned, the National Weather Service office here in San Angelo, all the staff there have taken shelter, and they're now they're turning the control over to the Midland National Weather Service because now they're taking their safety measures at our National Weather Service here in San Angelo. So if you're along Knickerbocker, along areas of South San Angelo, definitely find your safe spot. Find that interior room of your house. And currently seeing interior room of a house in a basement or the lowest floor of a sturdy building. And then again, like I mentioned, if you are in a mobile home, you are not safe from a tornado. And we are currently seeing this area of rotation here for the areas moving towards the city of South San Angelo.
Yes, and Chris, one thing to mention, the Weather Service, as Chris is mentioning, the Weather Service has taken shelter. The Weather Service is right where this radar dome is, right here along Knickerbocker Road, south of town. This is Lake Nasworthy, this little imprint you're seeing of little blue right here, and that flows into Twin Buttes. Where you're seeing this rotation is crossing the Twin Buttes Reservoir. Currently, it's going to be moving over Lake Nasworthy. If you're on Lake Nasworthy right now, or you live there, you need to be getting to the center part of your home away from windows. We're looking at the radar, and we're also looking off air at the Skycam, Chris. And Joey, if you don't mind cutting over to the Skycam a few times so that we can see it a little bit better a few times, because we're trying to take a look. And I don't see anything at the present time, Chris, that really just that screams a wall cloud or anything like that. However, this is very impressive rotation right now near the Twin Buttes. This is a very dangerous storm working into the city of San Angelo, so we want you to be taking cover.
And like Josh just mentioned here, we're going to go ahead and we can't ignore all the other factors when it comes to hail or any type of other situations with that, but we are tracking some hail is not really too much of a concern. We're seeing some hail move towards the northwest of town, but the main concern right here is that area of rotation that's now hitting the Twin Buttes Reservoir. And like Josh just mentioned, National Weather Service office here in San Angelo has taken shelter. So if you are in the south portions of town, along Knickerbocker, along South Concho Drive, along Country Club Drive, around Lake Nasworthy, definitely one of those times to take shelter. And I am noticing some broadening of this rotation as these latest scans are now coming in there.
Yeah, one thing I'm noticing here, Chris, remember the rotation was down here. We're now seeing it kind of lifting to the north. This could be occluding within the thunderstorm. And what I mean by that is usually these tornadoes kind of track in the east-northeasterly direction. Well, sometimes near the end of their life, they'll try to turn north. So if you live north of Twin Buttes now, this is going to be in southwest San Angelo. If you live anywhere south of 306 right now, you need to be in your shelter, in your safe spot within your house, because this is a very dangerous storm. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out here and show you the main thunderstorm. Here's the tornado warning, including the city, and we're going to go back to the area of rotation because I want to take a look at this a little bit closer now. You can see that area of rotation. Here's the Twin Buttes Reservoir. Here's 67. This is Jamison Road right here. And right in this area, just south of 67, is our biggest area of rotation. And Chris, even though it may look like it's turning, that also could be because we're nearing the radar. The radar's got a really great view at this, but unfortunately, it's a little too close at times. So have we heard anything from the Weather Service? I know you said they're taking shelter, but have we heard anything on...
Yeah, they said that they ended up turning control over to the Midland National Weather Service office, and I don't see anything from them, but I guess as of now, we haven't seen any updates from the National Weather Service as of now.
And Chris, we're going to take a more unconventional look at the radar. This is what we call correlation coefficient. We're looking to see if we see anything. And I'm not seeing anything greatly. A lot of what we're seeing is a little bit of false echoes showing up because of the way the Twin Buttes Reservoir is, because of the hills we have there, and because of the location of the radar. So some good news, at least right now, is we are not seeing debris showing up on radar. That is one way we can tell of what's going on, but we are seeing the potential again for rotation with this thunderstorm. We do have rotation. This could be a tornado on the ground, but we do not have confirmation of it just yet. Either way, south of 306, South San Angelo, you need to be taking cover right now. Be getting to the center part of your house away from windows. Hunker down with your hands over your hand and kind of bid down. The biggest injury happens when you're on the back side of your head. So you're going to want to be covering that up right now if you're taking shelter. Another thing to tell, and Chris, if you don't mind, reading off what's going on with this severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued for the rest of the city. So if you're in San Angelo, regardless, you're dealing with a thunderstorm. Tornado warning, south side, severe thunderstorm warning, north side.
Right, so if you are in the north side of San Angelo, well, mostly including downtown San Angelo, all the way from the Loop to Sherwood Way and the Loop, north of town, this is under a severe thunderstorm warning with 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and up to $half size hail. And like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, I saw some hail with our product that we have here just to the northwest of town, and that's exactly what's going on. There is radar indicated $half size hail with this particular thunderstorm that's moving towards San Angelo there. So this thunderstorm watch is until effect until 10 a.m., but this severe thunderstorm warning, and this is moving northeast at 45 miles an hour. So we're seeing this is actually moving relatively fast here. So if you are anywhere in the city of San Angelo, definitely find your safe spot, because we're kind of seeing this area of rotation kind of wobble back and forth. You know, it was heading towards the radar site near Mathis Field and near the airport, but now we're seeing it take a more northern turn towards the Loop there. But if currently the city of San Angelo is under a tornado warning as of now, if you're just joining us, and we are tracking an area of rotation that's currently just to the north of the Twin Buttes Reservoir, south of 67, moving in the general direction of the Loop and near Sherwood Way. So if you're along Southland, I know that's a main road that's just south of the Loop there, that's one of those areas where you kind of have to definitely find your safe spot if you live anywhere near that area. But like Josh just mentioned, and like we're currently tracking, we're seeing those very bright, bright colors of rotation there just to the southeast or southwest of San Angelo. So we are definitely calling out street names when we see them. So if you are along Stone Canyon Trail, College Hills, Knickerbocker, this is something that you definitely keep an eye on and find your safe spot, because this is heading in the general direction of the city of San Angelo. Yeah, Chris, I want to mention right here a few more areas. Again, here's our area of rotation. It's probably about 5 miles southwest of 306 here. Here's 306. Right here is Southland. If you know Southland Drive, that's right there. And then right here is Southwest. So all of these homes down here, south of the bluffs, including areas around 306 near Walmart, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Don't wait. Get there right now and take cover. Because again, our area of rotation is right here. The warning stops right here on 306, but it wouldn't surprise me if we get a new warning issued for this northerly part of it, because this rotation has taken a northerly jog. Sometimes these areas of rotation, these what we call mesocyclones, like to wobble around in the thunderstorm, and that is happening right now. I'm going to put a loop on this, and you'll kind of see which direction this thunderstorm has been going. Sorry, Chris, didn't know you were going for that. Go for that. Yeah, I was going to go ahead and do a wind query, right, so we can see exactly how fast these winds were as of currently right now here. So I'm going to go ahead and see where this area of rotation's at, see the winds, and we're seeing wind gusts. They just issued a new warning. There's that new tornado warning. So, Chris, I'm going to have you
or I'll just take it here, make sure Magic Track's enabled there. Right here, now, this is what I was talking about, that northerly jog. If you live on the west side of San Angelo, you need to be taking cover immediately. A new tornado warning issued until 5:45. The area of rotation's right here. It's crossing the Twin Buttes. You've seen these. It's on 67, and that is pulling north now. So folks in the Bluffs, you are now on the bullseye. Buffalo Heights, also areas along Arden Road to the State Park. This thunderstorm is moving your way. We're going to go back to the track of this.
And we are in the night hours, so don't think that you're going to see a tornado at this time with it raining and all this lightning that's going on. So just know that tornadoes at this current hour are difficult to see if there is one, but we are currently tracking this area of rotation that's currently moving towards the general city of San Angelo. All of the city of San Angelo is currently under a tornado warning, and we are tracking this area of rotation that's currently moving towards the loop near the Twin Buttes Reservoir. So if you are near Sherwood Way in the loop along Southland, along FM 2288, this is heading in your general direction. So definitely take those safety measures. Go to the lowest floor of your house and into the most interior rooms. Avoid all windows. And if you are outdoors in a mobile home is unsafe to be in. And also, if anybody's driving out, not a good idea to do not park under an overpass, because that is a very dangerous situation.
Chris, not to interrupt you right here, but if I may be wrong, I want you to be looking on air or off air and see what you're seeing. It looks like I see a lowering right in this area right here. This is going to be looking down Toohig from downtown San Angelo, so you're looking down Beauregard, looking right into the core of that thunderstorm. We've got a great view from downtown, and it looks like I see a lowering right here. I can't tell if it's on the ground, Chris, but it does look like that is a lowering of the thunderstorm. Would you agree?
Yeah, I'm currently trying to see here past the lightning and the delay of the pixelation here, but I do see somewhat of lowering. It's kind of hard for me to tell from my vantage point, but I do not. Josh, I wouldn't be surprised if there is one. Actually, you're right. I do see that faint line that's currently just over this town. There you go, right there.
Right in there, right in there. This is going to be right in here. So this is going straight down 306, coming into the southwest side of San Angelo. Now, potentially a tornado on the ground. We don't have any reports yet. However, we're going to treat this as if it is, because this is a very dangerous thunderstorm working through. And Chris, you can't get much better than that as far as the signature is concerned. We have very strong winds coming on the backside of this and very strong winds flowing into this. So this is the area we are concerned about. Again, this is not going to be far from residential areas in San Angelo. If you live south of 306, here's Walmart right here. This is Southland. Areas down into that area, including areas towards Bonham Elementary now. This is going to be rolling up your way and then tracking up into the Bluffs. So we want you to be taking cover right now. Again, we do not have a report of the tornado on the ground, but we are seeing visual signs that the thunderstorm, and there was a really good flash right there, we are seeing visual signs that the thunderstorm does have a lowering with it that could be rotating. That means we could have a tornado on the ground at the present time.
And we're currently on Facebook Live, and we're seeing all of your comments flood into our current Facebook live stream here, and we're definitely seeing those reports of people that are in their shelters or in their interior rooms of your home, and that is the best place to be right now, because I know a lot of times we often see these thunderstorms and they go around San Angelo and they don't hit San Angelo, but this is one of those times where this particular thunderstorm, the strongest motion of this storm, is going through the city of San Angelo with that area of rotation there. And as I'm currently looking here, I don't know if we want to loop that, Josh, over the past hour or so.
You can go ahead and loop that. I'm still watching on the Skycam. I still see a persistent lowering on the ground.
Right.
Or not necessarily on the ground, but a persistent lowering very near the ground.
And we're
showing up on this camera.
And we're currently seeing this broad area. It's gotten more broad within the past few minutes here. But as you can see, this twist right here, this turning and spinning of motion, that is indication of rotation that's currently going on with that. But of course, as of now, a little bit more broad. But this doesn't. When looking at the history of this thunderstorm, it would weaken, and then of course it would strengthen up again. So, and this is heading straight for the city of San Angelo.
Yes, and Chris, in addition to that, it's heading straight for our station as well. So anyone that's in the building, I want you to be ready in the next 15 minutes or so to be getting maybe to a better safe spot of the building. We'll stay with you here, but I want you all to be ready to get to a safer spot of the building if you can. You can see this very significant area of rotation showing up. And Chris, if you don't mind, pulling up our debris tracker, just see if we're seeing anything.
I'm going to go ahead and just for 1 second here, Josh, I'm going to go ahead and look at this area I'm seeing the high wind gust with this. Excuse me, sorry, I'm not really seeing this area here. Just 1 second here. Go ahead and operate the debris tracker while I'll check something else. But like we just mentioned, currently tracking this area, the entire city of San Angelo is under a tornado warning until 5:30. That's in about 2 or 3 minutes, so it's going to be, we're going to wait and see what the National Weather Service is going to do with this particular thunderstorm, and we are going to stay on air until this warning expires.
Okay, so a new update coming in from the Weather Service, Chris. What is that? Or is that your phone?
That's Joey's phone.
Okay, so that is your phone's going off. One thing that's really weird, though, Chris, I don't know if you feel it, if you hear it here, too, the rain has stopped here on the north side. And so we may be entering a more quiet part of the thunderstorm here on the north side. Do we see anything on the sky cam? So
if you're familiar with Taban Sharifi from our KLST sister station, she is reporting very strong winds near Southland.
Yes.
Taban Sharifi from our sister station, meteorologist Taban Sharifi from KLST is reporting very, very strong winds along the Southland area with this particular thunderstorm. And this area is under a tornado warning. And for the next couple of minutes, it's going to be interesting to see if they're going to continue this warning or within the next 12 hours or within the next few minutes or so. But I'm going to go ahead and turn that on right there. This is until 5:45. Actually, this is lasting until 5:45. Excuse me. And I think the tornado warned area for the south of town, that's expiring at 5:15 or 5:20. But we are continuing to track this area of rotation for this area for City of San Angelo that's moving towards town.
Yeah, Chris, and we're going to go ahead and point out that area of rotation. Again, this is on the south side of town. This is right over Walmart, right over 306, just west of the Sunset Mall. If you live in South San Angelo, if you live in West San Angelo, pretty much all of San Angelo needs to be taking cover right now because we don't know where the rotation exactly is in this thing, at least the strongest part of it, because it's so close to the radar. We're trying to look on the sky cam, see if we see anything. I still see a persistent lowering that I've been seeing. There we go.
Yeah,
that was a really good view there.
Yeah, that is definitely lowering this particular area.
Joey, if you don't mind cutting to that camera real quick, that camera that's pointed right at our sky cam.
Yeah, it's on there actually. Look on, he got it pulled up. So it's current live. So if you can see this area right here.
Chris, go ahead and point out the parts of those thunderstorms.
Yeah, so this area of lowering, that's just right here. That's indication of that lowering where we're seeing those strong wind gusts there with that.
Yes, yes. And Joey, cut back to the radar. Kind of give a view here. And Chris, I'm going to have you pull up streaming cactus web on that, like so. We'll put Cactus West here in the corner so we can see that. And we can kind of give you an idea of what's going on here. This is looking down this way towards the corner of the thunderstorm, towards right into this thunderstorm. Right here is going to be that side that's gusting out. If there's a tornado, it's going to be right in this area, which is lining up very well with radar there, very near 306 and 67. So again, if you are in San Angelo right now, you need to be taking cover. This is a potential tornado that may be on the ground. We're trying to see visual clues of it in our sky cam. And Joey, go ahead and cut back so we can see that live.
So we're currently tracking, we're just seeing mainly cloud to ground lightning with this particular thunderstorm, but we are seeing that lowering of that right now with this particular thunderstorm that's over Knickerbocker. Did you see that right there? That was just indication of, go ahead and...
And Joey, put that in the green screen if you can.
I think he's actually zoomed into this camera.
He is. Oh, you're right. I'm not thinking.
Yeah, so yeah,
Sorry,
we're definitely just tracking this area. The entire city of San Angelo, they have allowed that tornado warned area to the south of town to expire, but this still includes a good portion of the city of San Angelo when we're tracking this area. It looks to me that the highest wind gust with this particular thunderstorm is moving across the loop at the current moment. So Joey, if you can go ahead and turn on the radar.
Yeah, go back to radar real quick,
I'm going to go ahead and query this wind right here to see exactly what wind speeds we're dealing with, what radar indicated wind speeds we're dealing with this area that's currently within this tornado warned area. So we're seeing about 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts that is now moving into the city of San Angelo. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is some type of damage that will be indicated with this particular thunderstorm. And I know that, I really don't see too much of rotation currently at the moment. It looks like it's broadened just quite a bit.
It has broadened a little bit, Chris. It's still too close for comfort. We want you to treat this like there is a tornado with this thunderstorm, because at the very least, you're going to be getting 60 to 70 mile per hour winds coming across. Like Chris showed you right there, right in this area right here. This is that edge of the winds that are coming across this way, and this is winds that are coming across this way now. So your area of rotation is still crossing Sunset Mall. Here's San Angelo State Park. Here's Arden Road. It's now sitting pretty much right over Arden Road, the Heights Church, anywhere where the Fuzzies is there on 67 between the H-E-B and the Walmart. That's where the center of rotation is. But it's a very broad rotation, which means we're getting gusty winds on the backside. We're getting gusty winds on the forward side of it. Those gusty winds now rolling into areas from Angelo State to the San Angelo Stadium.
Josh, I'm going to take control of this right quick.
Go for it.
Yeah, so like Josh just mentioned, the highest wind speeds right now, and we're seeing it cross the loop around College Hill Sunset.
Chris.
I'm going to go ahead and just see what wind speeds we're dealing with along College Hill. 76-mile-an-hour wind gusts along College Hill. It's up to 60 to 70 mile an hour per wind gust. So definitely
Chris,
possible.
I'm seeing power flashes on the camera.
And
Joey, I want you to take the camera immediately. I want you to take the camera immediately. I see you have it. It's down there in that corner. So we're looking exactly where you were pointing out, Chris. Right there. That's a power flash. That is right there.
That was a power flash. So we're definitely, and we just got, looks like to me that we just got a little bit of a power hit on our station here. But yeah, those wind speeds right now are definitely, we're seeing those power flashes on our radar. So if you are in the city, we're still dealing with these damaging winds. Whether or not it's a tornado or not, we're still seeing winds up to 76, close to 80 mile per hour. And it looks to me a good chunk of our horizon here is out without power.
Yes, and when Chris says a power flash, what we mean by that is we mean transformers blowing either due to winds or due to knocking down of power lines that mess with the transformer. And that is what is occurring now on the south side of the city. When we see those power flashes, that means either we have really gusty winds or we have a tornado on the ground. We're going to treat it as if there's a tornado on the ground, given the fact that we've seen this persistent rotation that is occurring over the southwest side of the city. Again, if you are in San Angelo right now, you need to be taking cover, getting to the center part of your home, away from windows, and hunker down. We're looking live from downtown San Angelo off to the west, and we are watching power flashes occurring on the southwest side of town. Joey, go back to the radar if you don't mind.
And so
here's what we're talking about. Here's that gusty wind now coming right over the San Angelo Stadium right there. And Chris, remind me, that is going to be that 60 mile per hour winds, right? Or sorry, 80 mile per hour winds now.
We're going to go ahead and see what we're dealing with when it comes to 80 mile per hour winds. And this is hitting the San Angelo Stadium at the current moment along Knickerbocker. So if you're along Knickerbocker, definitely seeing those very high wind gusts. And it looks to me that this area of the strongest area is now starting to approach the news station. So we're getting closer towards our area, towards the news station. Like I mentioned, we are not really seeing too much. This area is still under tornado warning, but we're not really seeing...
We just had the power go out. It looked like in downtown San Angelo briefly. It really got dark quickly.
Josh, Joey, can you go back to the Skycam? Yeah, so we just looks to me there was like just a power flash from downtown San Angelo, or a hit to the power there.
Yeah, we could definitely notice that. And so we may end up losing our Cactus cameras briefly because I believe they operate on power. And so if the power goes out there, we would lose that. So let's go back to radar here. We're now getting very loud thunder. Again, very heavy. And Chris, I want you to drag this forward now. I want you to put that as this is coming into the northeast side of the city, or sorry, the center side of the city. Here's that very strong wind. Okay, here's the area of rotation. If it is not on the ground, what's happening is we're getting what's called a rear flank downdraft from this thunderstorm. That means very strong winds coming down from the mid-levels of the atmosphere. Anyone in the station right now, I want you heading to a safer part of the station because this is probably about 5 minutes from hitting us. Very gusty winds now coming into downtown San Angelo. Chris, I'm going to take control here. If you can go ahead and re-enable my magic track. I'm going to take control here. And actually, I'm gonna have you zoom in there.
Sure.
Because it's not wanting to let me right now. But some very, very gusty winds. Here is Avenue N. Avenue N right here. This is going to be Beauregard into Pulliam. This is very gusty winds approaching 80 to 90 miles per hour rolling through downtown right now. And again, the potential still for a tornado in the city. If you are in the city right now, we want you taking cover. Get into the center part of your house, away from windows, kind of hunker down. If you can, get in a bathtub, kind of hunker down. Cover your head like this and bend down until this thing moves across. This is very gusty wind moving through 70 to 80 miles per hour, and that can do damage. That can blow out some windows now moving into the city if we don't have a tornado on the ground. And Chris, take the camera now, Joey, if you don't mind.
So it looks to me that they just took a big,
massive
huge
power
hit to downtown San Angelo. Downtown San Angelo has taken a big, huge power hit, and it also, too, could have caused our camera to go into night mode. So that's a good possibility, but the
power is completely out in downtown San Angelo. So look at that camera. Back to the radar, Joey, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so we're still seeing those wind gusts approaching downtown, and we're here on the north side of town, and there's a good possibility that we may lose power and we may go off air when these high wind gusts reach to the north part of town along North Main.
And if we go off air, guys, we will be getting on Facebook Live through the cell phones as we get to a safer part of the building. But right now, very strong winds working through the city. If there's not a tornado on the ground, there's at least 80 to 90 mile per hour winds hammering areas from downtown San Angelo over to Pulliam. This is going to be nearing the station very soon. If anyone in the building is near a window, I want you getting away from it right now. I don't think we have anyone near a window, but if you happen to be, get away from it. Chris, we can still really make out that hook echo, and this is lifting straight towards the station now. Go back to the wind if you don't mind.
Sure.
There we go. And let's zoom in right down there into the center of town.
I'm going to go ahead and loop it back for 1 hour here.
Yes, and you can really tell how it's spinning as it comes across. This is very gusty wind. Again, the potential for maybe a tornado. I'm trying to look on our camera. We still have it. It actually froze.
Okay.
I think it froze because those are cars right down there.
Yeah, so we just lost access to our, Joey, if you can go to our camera here, we just lost access to our camera that did freeze. So it's probably due to that power hit that downtown just took just a while ago. But like if we go back to radar, we're now seeing about 80-mile-an-hour wind gusts approaching downtown San Angelo near, I was trying to see what that sound was.
Okay, what we're going to do right now is we're going to get to a little bit of a safer part of the station, Chris.
Yeah, I mean,
leave this looping, put it on slow if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And we're going to stay with you as well as we can. We're going to stay with you as well as we can.
So we're seeing a very high wind gusts that are about to approach North San Angelo, and our KSAN studios are just near the outskirts of our building. So if any type of situation does occur with this particular thunderstorm here, but we are currently seeing our currently trying to find a safer area for us here at the station here as we continue to monitor the situation. But we are currently monitoring that. They just issued a new warning or a new update for us here in San Angelo.
Oh,
here. So like I said, we are definitely moving towards about to get those very high wind gusts here for us in our exterior portions of our new station. So we are still monitoring. They just issued another tornado warning for Tom Green County, and this is lasting until I'm going to go see here. Until 5:45. That's the one that was issued just a while ago. But we just took a power hit, just a small little power hit here at the station. But we are continuing to monitor the situation as we continue to see this area of very high winds, very heavy rain, and lightning moving through the city of San Angelo currently at the current time here. But we are currently monitoring the situation here, seeing those areas of lightning there. But we are currently monitoring that here as we continue to move towards the center of town. We are seeing this area of rotation, like I mentioned. We did see this area just kind of loosen and broaden just a little bit, but we now are seeing just a little bit of a tightening with this area that's currently moving closer towards the city currently at the current moment. So Josh, if you wanted to go ahead and add on to anything here.
Yeah, Chris, we're just moving to a safer part of the building. Hopefully they can still hear us. If not, we're going to be going live on, did you bring your cell phone?
No, I did not. But
okay,
we
that's
are.
Fine. You got that right there?
Yeah, we have this right here. We are in a safe spot. We are able to see the radar here on air currently, but we are continuing to track. And Josh, if you can look at this radar, you can see that area of just, it's tightening up again. If you just continue to watch that there, that's currently moving through the center of town.
See if we can get a Facebook Live going on the KSAN News page. I may have to do this on my page so that it doesn't interrupt the current Facebook Live we have.
So if you have Suddenlink, I noticed that Suddenlink is all of the Suddenlink channels are now under this warrant. They have this alert. So if you're unable to watch us, then we're definitely on Facebook Live there as we continue to track this very strong thunderstorm that's moving through the center of town here. But as we currently assessing the situation, we're getting to our safe spot here in the studio, but we're continuing seeing this area of rotation tighten up just a little bit. And we are hearing those wind speeds pick up very greatly for us here at the station.
Yes, anyone at the station right now, you need to get in the center part of the station. We're hearing that really go. And we're trying to go live on Facebook here so that if we happen to lose power, you'll still hear us here. So we're going live on Facebook now, the KSAN News Facebook page, to tell you what's going on. Again, tracking a tornado-warned thunderstorm working through San Angelo. If we happen to lose our computers, if you happen to lose our feed, we're now live on Facebook. Here's those gusty winds coming across the city, Chris, and we're still seeing that broad rotation. Good news is that it's broad. Bad news is we're still seeing those winds getting up to 70 miles per hour at times as it rolls over the city. And we heard it here. We definitely heard it here.
Right, and we're still not out of the woods yet here. And if hopefully, if anybody is watching this, just definitely tell us what you're hearing. Don't go outside to look to see what's going on. But if you hear something in particular, like, stuff rattling around or potential damage, let us know to see if we can see potential damage there.
Yeah, it looks like the gustiest winds right now, Chris, are still coming over, currently coming over areas from, go ahead and mute that if you don't mind so we don't get any sort of feedback. But areas coming over North San Angelo now, Harris, Armstrong, where we are exactly for our station. And we'll only be in cover probably for about 5 minutes here at the station. We want to mention there's still gusty winds on the backside of this circulation coming through town. So you may have had winds that were coming from the south. You're now having winds that are going to be coming in from the north, the backside coming in from the north and the northwest. They're going to hit you. So you may have had those winds from the south. Now you're going to see them coming from the other side, which is why we still want you to be taking cover in the middle of your house. We're in the middle of our building here taking cover ourselves because this is moving right over our station and we're still getting those really gusty winds. If there is a tornado right now, it's going to be moving straight up Armstrong Street, very near the TV station, very near the Lakeview High School as well. You'll be able to see the center of rotation right here, coming up Armstrong Street, crossing 19th. That is the center of rotation. Gusty winds on the backside of it coming across areas by producers.